Hello everyone, JR10 Desert Gold. Well, as you know from my previous video that I had to cut that short due to a power outage in this area, and I didn't have the opportunity to brew this Runner Stout, so it's happening today. In my first video or the last video I posted on this, I stated that I was going to leave this in the stock condition because I didn't want to waste any more time with it. I was already licking my wounds about the price of this thing, so I just wanted to get it done and out of the way. But in the couple of days since, I decided, well, that might not be the best idea. I should at least do what I can to make it more notable than what you paid for this thing. So I decided that I will make some additional changes to the brew. The first one I'm going to add is, this is some medium toasted American oak chips. I'll be using about 4 ounces out of this. See, put that in the fermenter. And then I'm going to be adding cocoa nibs, or cacao if you want to say it that way. Cocoa nibs is fine. This obviously is going to be adding some chocolate flavor to it, which will work great. You've got the oaky flavor plus the spices that might come through from the oak toasting, and there's going to be a little bit of vanilla flavoring coming out of that, which is going to fit in nice with this. This has got a toasty flavor to it to start with. Almost all stouts do. It's going to have some caramely, even maybe some espresso coffee type flavorings in it. I've never done this brew, but looking at the bag of grains, there's a lot of dark grains in there, so I'm assuming it's going to be a dark roasty type of brew. So these will work just fine if this holds up its end. And lastly, even though they call this a Runner Stout, there's no rum in it, and obviously they can't provide it, so I'm going to provide my own. This is the Kraken. It's a 94 proof spiced rum. It'll work wonderful. Add it just out of the name, homage to Captain Jack Sparrow, but we're going to add this to it, and we're going to see how the final results turn out. So I guess there's nothing left to say about this other than this is actually a perfect day to be doing this because the temperatures have jumped from the 106s. It's currently 112 degrees outside. And because this is not a flash brew, I have to sit there and babysit the boil process and make sure that it doesn't overboil, which almost always happens if you don't monitor it. And I'd rather not clean up a huge mess on the table out there, so I will sit and watch it. I can't brew it in the house because the wife doesn't like the smell of cooking malts. I know, I don't get it, but I'm a diligent husband and I take one for the team. So I'm going to be out there in the heat, and if it weren't for the boiling, this would be happening a lot quicker, a lot easier, And that's why I'm not dealing with these things anymore, because there's no need for it. Flash brewing is, in my opinion, the way. If you're a staunch brewmaster and the techniques of brewing a beer are ingrained in you, I'm sure you disagree with that. But for us beginners or lazy people like myself, I really welcome these kits that are pre-processed. I'll be doing this pale ale in a few days, and I guess I've stalled long enough. It's time to go out there and face the furnace. So let's see what happens. Well, to give you an idea of the heat outside, these are the temperatures for the 51 degrees on the right is for the temperature inside the kegerator, and it normally sits around 35 degrees. And the one on the left is the middle fridge, which is the conditioning fridge where the pinter is in right now, and that is running 42 degrees because it's in the middle, and that normally runs around 35 to sometimes down to 30s. So yeah, they're fighting the battle out there in the heat. Okay, so first steps were actually pretty straightforward. Took the grains, the grain bag, that was this one, and it does look like a nice dark blend. So what we're going to do now, close this up and put it in water to steep. They usually say about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm probably leaning more towards a little past 20 minutes. I want this to get as much flavor out of those grains as it can before I pull it out. Because once it's in there for about 20 minutes, you do pull it out and pitch it, throw it away. So we'll give it a 20 minutes, and then we're gonna add the DME. Supposed to wait till it goes to a rolling boil, but trust me, if you try to pour this in with the steam coming off of the rolling boil, you're gonna have a mess. So what I'm gonna do is, this is gonna be over 100 degrees when I pour it in, and eventually it's gonna be boiling, so I don't have to worry about it, introducing any bad illness in there before it gets to a boil, because it's all gonna boil and be sterilized. But I'm gonna put it in much earlier than the rolling boil stage, because in the past it's always been a lot easier and the results are the same. And I'll show you if I get this stuff in there without creating the big clumping on the opening of the bag. Okay, so now it's been in there for about 20 minutes, and this is no longer needed. And you can see how much of the color, aromas, and the flavors that are coming out of these grains. And I gotta tell you, it already smells like toast and coffee and caramel. And I'm a little impressed here so far. But this goes in the trash. All right, so we've got the water ready for the DME, and this is the part I dislike the most. All right, here we go. And that's a dark dried malt. And I just remembered something. This has 2 pounds, and I've only got one sitting here, but I caught it. Okay, that could have been a bummer. Glad I remembered that this is a strong malty beer. So we're just dumping this in, get it dissolved. And you can also already, well, not too bad right now, huh? Yeah, the fun of stirring lumpy malt. Doesn't get any better than this, right? Whatever. All right. Not too much, and that's not too much clinging to the bag because I am not generating any steam right now. All right, so keep stirring. And we'll get back to this once I've got everything in there. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but it's already starting to grow. And this is where you can't take your eyes off of this. I've even moved my misting fan to spray it with a cool mist to keep it from blowing up on me. This is why I hate boiling. There's no need for this anymore. Oh man, I've had to clean up many blowovers in the years past, but I'm doing my best to avoid it today. Looks like it's, there we go. I don't know if you can see it with the camera angle, but it's already breaking up, so the potential for a blowover is diminished quite a bit. That little misting fan, I don't know if you can see it, it's a lifesaver. Keeps me cool, inexpensive, battery run so it's portable. I love it. And it works well for keeping blowovers from happening on your brewing. Okay, I can move this back to just cooling. All right, gotta stay cool myself. Can't believe it. I'm almost through the woods here. Okay, so we can officially say the boil has started. I'm getting a rolling boil underneath the foam. They say that you should put your hops in as soon as the boil starts, but I'm not a big bitter fan, so I'm gonna put it in. Actually, I'm gonna put it in about 15 more minutes because the boil is supposed to go for 45. So we'll see. Oh man, one good thing about brewing out here, and there are very few good things about it, is it's close to beer. A little IPA would go good right now. Is that Hot Prophecy for more beer? And a nice cool IPA is quite appreciated right now. Okay, the boiling is done, and it was brutal out there. Now I'm going to transfer the wort into the keg and see how we do. Once again, you never know what's going to happen with all my shaky hands. Alright, it's just under the 1 gallon mark, so I'm going to use some chilled RO water that I have and bring the temperature down so that we can pitch the yeast. I'm getting pretty good at this guesstimating crap. Right? Now let's take it in steps. Alright, we're right on the 1 gallon line, so we're going to have to stop there. And get a read on the temperature, because while this flash yeast, which I'm going to use, is in the same family as the Kveik yeast, and it can be fermented at room temperature. It isn't as robust as the Voss version, and we're going to see. Still 91. Still a little too warm. So I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. So the temperature comes down to about 80. And then we can pitch this. If this was the other version, I could pitch it right now. Now, aside from that, this will ferment this in 3 days, just like the Voss version. That is going to be a major asset for me when it comes to adding the cocoa nibs and the oak chips. We have to wait till the fermentation has finished, or is pretty close to finished, before adding those items and the rum. So if we added them now, the alcohol level would eventually wipe out the chocolate flavors in the cocoa nibs, and you would lose a lot of flavor in that. And the oak chips would release too much of what you're looking for if you put them in now. So we're gonna wait the 3 days. If I were using the yeast that came with the kit, we would have to wait 2 to 4 weeks before we could put the oak chips and the cocoa nibs in. So this is why I'm getting excited about the newer generation of yeasts and the flash brews and all the advancements that have been made recently in the brewing world. It makes it much easier for us lazy people, and more importantly the beginning brewers, to not get frustrated by all the challenges that the old ways had. I'm glad to get out of that heat after monitoring this boil for an hour, and that would have been unnecessary with a flash brew. Anyway, we're at the stage where I can finish my red ale, and when this gets to temp, I will dump the yeast in it, and I will set it on the brew table next to the Pilsner that we began a couple of days ago. Anyway, for now, this is JR10 Desert Gold. Have a great evening. Have fun. Be safe.